Hey guys, welcome back to Blockcast. It is time for the weekly rant. We missed last week, so there's probably a bit more for us to go through. Will, how are you? What are we talking about today?
Good, Simon. Just reading up on Ledger, and it looks like they decided to pull back their whole recovery scheme. That for people who missed this news, Ledger had come out 2 weeks ago, and they said that they provided an opportunity, basically, if you owned a Ledger, an opportunity for you to pretty much send your keys outside your Ledger and have it backed up by three people. And of course, the markets didn't react too well to it. I mean, moving your keys out of your ledger, to me personally, is crazy. I think to everybody else.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I guess this is succumbing to, public pressure, isn't it? Obviously, they had a huge pushback and they were probably right to put a pause on
Mm,
it because I think it was going to damage them too much from a
mm,
marketing perspective if they went forward with it. And so it's open Pandora's box now, though, is that we're
mm.
only a firmware update away from your private keys being able to get pulled out. So at least everyone
Yeah,
now is a little bit more knowledgeable about what actually can occur with hardware wallets. I think
yeah.
me personally, I'll be a little bit more wary about just clicking yes, update firmware on my ledger next time. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
definitely making me think about spreading my risk across more than just a ledger hardware wallet, I guess.
Oh yeah, me too. I mean, it's crazy to me that like you said, we're one update away. That means that the ledger always had that vulnerability. It's just that they hadn't installed it as far as we know. So I would also be looking to diversify, and I really want to know how the other hardware wallets work. And it would be great if some experts could sort of dig into it and open up the hardware and let us know what we see. I guess that's the closest we can get to trusting somebody else to make hardware wallets for us.
I
Maybe.
think
Mm,
the assumption going forward is that any hardware wallet can do this. You'd have to
mm.
assume that if Ledger can do it, why can't everyone else?
I mean, let's face it. There's other ways of storing our crypto safely, and I was reminiscing to myself that before hardware wallets, we had paper wallets, and there was a procedure on how you generated this. You essentially bought a laptop, and if you were paranoid enough, you disabled the wireless, completely disabled it, physically took it out of the computer, and then you generated your key there, and you just put it down on paper with your hand, not even through a printer, and that was your paper wallet. And we could still go back to those days. It's tempting.
Well, we still are in those days to a degree because you still had to have your seed phrase recovery for Ledger. So people did that by
Mm,
hand, or people use like the metallic things you can get, but that still existed. That's still there.
mm.
But I think we
It's
do
just,
need to move forward with these user experiences. They do need to be easier and better. And I
mm,
still am of the position that I think what Ledger recovery is supposed to be is probably a good thing for the future of crypto because there's probably more people out there who are willing to trust that than they are to trust themselves. And there's more people out there to get into crypto that need this kind of help. We
oh
don't
yeah,
all have to
and
be of the we don't all have to be of the mindset where governments are out to get me. I need to protect all my money.
yeah,
Maybe we
yeah.
should allow some trust. I mean, I can't read the code. I'm
Mm,
trusting what I hear from people that
mm,
Ethereum and Bitcoin are what they say they are because I can't read the code. I can read a white paper, but I can't read the
yeah.
code. So I'm still trusting people there. So there's trust. We can't live in a
Oh
world
yeah.
without trust.
Oh yeah. I'm with you there, Simon. I can't read the Ethereum code as well. It's that's for the geeks. Um, but I
I
like.
thought that was you. I thought that was you.
Oh no, so
That was
there's
your job.
I hate to break this to you, Simon. There's levels of geeks, and so there's
Okay.
yeah, so there's geeks who geeks call when things get really tricky. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, moving on because we're talking about code, and this is a bit old news now, but it's very interesting. Is that the question of is code law? And the example of this was that there was a hack on Sushi Swap, and the hackers moved the funds to Lido, and they moved it to a wallet in the Lido system that distributed new ETH to everyone.
Hmm.
So the hacker obviously just stole the money and sent it out to everyone else, not basically keeping it for themselves. And so here's the question here is that should Lido return those funds? They have the ability to. Should they?
I They put it to a vote, didn't they?
They did put it to a DAO vote, and the first DAO vote said no, no, they shouldn't. It's not our
Hmm.
responsibility that someone has deposited money into our account, and we don't have to do this.
I don't
But it's an
know.
ethical question, isn't it?
It is an ethical question, but then the problem now is that, well, okay, now it's Lido, it's a DAO. I imagine that the people who were voting were probably at least pseudonymous to some case. I didn't vote, but if I was in Lido, I don't think anybody would know who I was. And if I voted, I don't think anybody would know which way I voted. So, yeah, I think it just exposed a new problem with DAOs in that if you don't know who is voting, are they always going to vote in the most ethical way? And what should we do about that?
Yeah, and I don't think I know the right answer to this. I guess obviously there was a fault in the Sushi Swap code, which is not great. That's
Mm,
obviously our thing that we've got to stop.
yeah,
But what is the DAO's responsibilities? What are the individual's responsibilities? What should be expected of people? I don't know. It's a very interesting one. It's a very interesting case. I think they went and put the same vote back into the DAO again. The Lido DAO
yeah.
went and said, no, 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 we should vote for this again to see. I haven't seen the results of that one yet. So it'll be interesting to
No,
see
the
if second
last.
time round they change their minds.
That's funny. No, the last vote was wrong. Let's vote again. I,
I
yeah,
know, and that's
yeah,
ridiculous, isn't it? Like, how many times you've asked the same question until you get the
yeah.
answer that you want? I don't know.
Yeah,
So, don't know.
I think it also brings in other philosophical questions in that, first of all, the blockchain is great because it's brought about liquid democracy and representative and not representative democracy, essentially the democracy where everybody can vote. I forget what the name for that is, but the thing is, should everyone be allowed to vote, or, if this is what we're going to be getting, and are there consequences? So when Tornado Cash refused to return the money or to cooperate with the government, uh, this is $3 million. It's gone missing. It belongs to someone. So I'm sure somebody has probably reported to the authorities. I would imagine whoever is responsible for Lido probably getting approached at some point and needing to explain what happened to that $3 million. I think.
Yeah,
I don't,
it's a, it's an interesting case, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But I guess it still brings the question mark back: is code law? And I kind of think it is. I guess is
mm,
my take on it. I kind of think code is law these days.
mm. I
We'll see where that
mean,
one ends up.
hey, this happened with Ethereum when it was new, and the result was Cold War's law. No, actually, sorry, I take that back. Ethereum forked. Ethereum
Ethereum.
forked.
Well, you're talking about the original DAO hack, which was like in
Yeah,
2016, 2015, wasn't it? Just after Ethereum got released. Yeah. So
yeah,
that's what
mhm,
blockchains can do. If they have a disagreement, they can fork and
yeah.
create a whole new chain, and I guess let the people end up deciding. But I guess that's kind of pointless, though, isn't it? The process of a DAO is the people
Mm,
who hold the token deciding.
mm, totally.
Anyway, interesting one. Let's move
Yeah.
on. And this next one is big, big news. I feel is that China is lifting its crypto exchange ban. So Hong Kong is allowing people to buy and sell crypto again, which I think is huge news because, as we
Yeah.
kind of know, people in the space have seen China banning crypto, not banning crypto over and over again. It's kind of a running joke. But the last time they banned it, they actually did a pretty good job of stopping it. But
Mm,
now they're
mm,
allowing it again. So why are they
yeah.
allowing it again? I don't know.
That's a question. I wonder if it's taxes or maybe. I did hear one theory once that said that back in 2017, I forget who said it. It might have been Antonopoulos, and he said that, well, right now crypto is really young and there isn't so much money moving around, and right now crypto is being bullied by lobbyists. But he said at some point crypto would get big enough. You'd have players who are rich enough and making enough money. We've got crypto billionaires now, probably enough of them, who are able, for their own interest, to lobby governments. And who knows? Maybe it's a lobbying thing. Maybe it's taxes. I imagine there's pockets in
Maybe
it somewhere.
maybe it's
Yeah.
China. Maybe it's China trying to lean into the fact that the US is being tough on regulation. So China's like, well, if they're going to be really tough on it, then maybe we should
Mhm.
play the opposite card and try and make it easier. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm glad. I'm glad they're doing it.
All it means is that there's a lot more money probably coming into the space, which is great. It means prices
Yeah,
go up.
yeah. Can you imagine being at a time where America, the sort of like the free country, isn't as free as places like China? It's like, hey, I want to start a crypto company. I'm going to China.
Yeah, and you know what the other thing is that China's obviously way further on in its central bank digital currency. So maybe they're going to force this integration of their central bank digital currency into it as well. So you can only there's no like fiat on and off ramp. It's central bank digital currency on and off. Anyway, moving on. Well, what's our next topic?
I kind of like this one. Looks like Shaquille O'Neal is our next BitConnect guy. I did not know this. But Shaquille had been basically promoting FTX when it was still pretty legitimate, and it looks like he got served. That's one thing, and the other crazy thing is that it seemed like it took a long time for the papers to get to him. It looked like he'd been dodging the whoever was trying to serve him. Now I don't know how the law works, but I assumed if you did something illegal, it was illegal and you're in trouble. But I don't know. Maybe in America you can just dodge the papers and be safe. But looks like he could have touched them for that long. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one because I mean, again, we don't know law, so I don't really know how it works entirely, especially US law for that matter. But he was paid to market the company,
Mm,
and that's illegal. Like I didn't know that. He didn't know it was a scam. He didn't know anything was going on. You know, as I think we know, there was lots of other people. Like Tom Brady was very famous for promoting them as well.
mm.
Like they didn't know what was going on. They're not responsible for the business dealings and decisions. They signed a contract to use their celebrity status, their face, to
Yeah,
promote it. It was a marketing deal.
yeah.
I don't know what they did
That's
wrong.
that's what I don't get. And it's not like they own shares in the company or anything. But maybe the law, maybe the court case is by investors and not by the SEC. So maybe it's just disgruntled investors who want their money back. But really, I don't know. Going after Shaq. Uh,
Well, look, at the end of the day, what is he going to get hit with? Like 10,000, 100,000? I don't know what he's going to hit. He'll settle, and that'll be cents on the dollar to him, to be fair. So I'm not going to cry a tear over Shaq getting served this. I just scratch my head because I don't understand how the law works, I guess.
yeah, me neither. Oh my God. I feel like there's so many things happening in crypto that means that people really have to think twice. I mean, like the Lido guys, I hope the Lido maker will be fine and I hope they'll be able to sort it out. But then Do Kwon as well, whether you love him or hate him, all he did was create some contract code and that crashed, and I guess he was in trouble. So it's really hard to know where to stand with the law. Like even Tornado Cash, they went and arrested some random developers for enabling terrorism. We're like, was it that developer that said, no, we're not returning you the hackers' money? So, I,
That was an interesting case. That's something that I'd like to revisit because he was arrested in the Netherlands, I believe, and he was without charge and kept in jail for a very long time. So there was a big push to release him or understand what he's actually being charged with. I hadn't heard about that story for a long time. So there was
mm,
question marks whether he was actually arrested for something else, not related to Tornado Cash. And that's
oh
what I think
yeah,
people wanted to know. Is it
oh yeah.
Tornado Cash you arrest him for or something else? You need to let us know because you can't arrest him for writing code.
Mm,
But I don't know. That's maybe something I'll look into. We can talk about at the next weekly rant.
yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, yeah. And if you can be arrested in Netherlands, well, where are you safe? I mean, I feel like I should move to Russia or someplace that hates America.
Maybe, yeah. Well, Do Kwon got arrested in Montenegro, so yeah, they'll get you wherever. Uh, FTX2, FTX2 exchange relaunching, mate. It's still underway. There's still plans
Ooh.
for it. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, I'm not putting my money in there. But I don't know if they have a token. Like, I'm still hoping that if they do launch, they have a token. Because sometimes exchanges have tokens, like Binance, and the token is good because they can say, well, if you hold this token and you pay fees in this token, the your trade fees will be less. That's super important if you have bots there running arbitrage or if you're a market maker. So that's really cool. So maybe they'll launch their own token. And the only reason that I would like them to do that is that maybe they'll have a chance to compensate everybody. Maybe,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. You know what? I think exchanges, I think a really good project would be an exchange insurance fund. And it would be amazing if it was actually part of the law, or if an exchange could actually say, look, we've deposited this amount of ETH and this and that into this insurance fund. So if anything ever happens to us, at least your tokens are safe. That would be nice. But is it possible?
That would be
I
nice,
don't
but
know.
that would require regulation, and that would
Mm,
be nation state regulation. So that
mm,
doesn't cross borders. So that'd be a very difficult thing to
mm.
manage, but it's doable and something that we probably do need.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm not putting my money in FTX.
Yeah, from my personal perspective of it, I think the brand is too tarnished. And I like the
Mm,
idea, okay, they're trying to launch it again. Everyone seemed to love it. I never actually used FTX, I guess, so I personally didn't lose any money, thankfully. I know lots of people who did. But
mm,
everyone who used it talked about how great the user experience was. So that's why it was so popular, I think, because it was a great user experience.
mm,
Relaunching it, the user experience will probably be, I guess, the same because they're probably just going to turn it back on in some way, shape, or form. But the brand is just too tarnished. I cannot see how it can succeed. I wouldn't use it because of the brand. Who's going to use it? I mean, the people who are going to use it are probably the ones who lost money on it and wanting it to work. But the last I heard, FTX had what $14 billion lost. I think
mm.
they've recovered about 10 billion. So a big
That's
percentage
not.
of it has actually been covered, but there's still $4 billion in the hole. It's a lot of money. So a lot of people
Yeah.
still aren't going to get made whole. I don't know how much
Mm,
revenue an exchange actually makes, but I feel filling that hole of $4 billion will take
mm.
a very long time.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to succeed, and I wouldn't use it just because I think the brand is tarnished and people don't
Yeah.
want to be associated with it anymore.
I mean, it would need to have such a compelling reason to use. And I mean, compelling. And honestly, I can't think of any reason that I would go there and not go to Binance. I mean, the UX was great, but that's not enough to get me to go there now just because its reputation is tarnished. I don't know. They definitely have to come up with something. Uh,
Yeah, they have to they're going against people who hate Binance. Would have to be what they're doing. They're going to be going, an anti-Binance kind of campaign to get people away from Binance onto FTX. But there's plenty of other
mm,
exchanges out there. There's plenty of other reputable exchanges out there. I mean, especially in the US, there's plenty of really good ones. So I don't know why they would use this anymore. Anyway, if they do
yeah.
it, hopefully people get their money back. I won't use
Yep.
it.
Me neither. uh,
Alrighty, let's finish
moving
up, mate, with
on.
talking about price. Price has
Yep.
been very interesting of late, and this has been the first red candle month for Bitcoin for 2023, which is in itself kind of cool. So we've had January, February, March, April up only for Bitcoin,
Mm,
but now we've put
mm,
in our first red month. Not a
yep.
significant one, but well, let me measure.
I,
I've got the chart right in front of me. So it's what is it?
I've
Yeah,
a
seven
couple.
percent down in the month.
Yeah. I always get excited about red candles during the bear because I mean, during the bull, because that just means I can buy some. Um, I'm looking at my personal chart, and I've got an indicator that I don't see in too many places. It's only on this platform, which is under development. But then what it does is it correlates Bitcoins and other prices, other instrument prices across the whole year, but then across several years. And so it has the price of Bitcoin this June and the last June and the one before that. And the indicator
Hmm.
notices that a lot of these prices tend to correlate month on month. So in that if June this year was fairly bullish. Last year was also bullish. They tend to correlate, and there is some clever math to make it easy to understand. And the reason that like prices correlate month on month is just because of the way markets flow. For example, during certain holidays, there's a lot of money being spent. During Christmas, maybe people are traveling, that affects oil, oil affects this thing. So, regardless of whether you're in a bear or a bull, prices tend to fairly correlate. So, even if you're in a bear that's going down and June tends to be a positive month, you might get a little bit of an uptick. So, according to this indicator, it looks like we'll be down until the end of June, and then we're going to start going up. Once we get to around mid-July, we should be doing pretty well price-wise, I think, according to the indicator. What do you think, Simon?
There you go, TA from Will. I think we discussed this at the start of the year about this is going to be a choppy year. We're going to be going up and down, up and down. So we're still in that. So down, not surprised about. We aren't in the up only period of the market cycle yet. So yeah, I think means it's a better time to start buying. If you're dollar cost averaging, you could put more in now. Well, the market's down a bit. I think it's a case of don't worry too much. We've had one red month after 4 green. This is the cycle we're in. It's a bit sideways at the moment, so don't stress about it too much.
Yeah.
It's just where we're at.
Oh yeah. If it's going to go up, it's going to go down. If it's going to go down, it's going to go up. It's just the nature of markets, right?
Yeah. Interestingly enough, though, ETH didn't have a down month. ETH was slightly up, only about literally less than 1% over the month.
Wow.
So ETH's still green all year for Ethereum. Maybe if I changed exchange that I'm looking at the charts on, it might be different. But currently it shows green month for May.
Might be all that staking going on.
Maybe. Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it? There's a huge amount going into staking now. So the decline in Ethereum being staked is over. There's no one trying to get out of Ethereum staking anymore. There's a huge backlog of people trying to go in. And last I heard, there's millions of ETH trying to get into the staking pool. So you're talking about weeks delay of actually getting new Ethereum into the staking pool, which is incredible. So there was definitely no bearish case. The ETH unlock was definitely not a dump of ETH. It wasn't everyone racing for the doors. It was a race for everyone to get in.
I envy everyone with holding a lot of ETH. I wish I had more than I do. But
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But so it's clearly bullish. The Ethereum staking is very bullish. More people are putting in there, which means more Ethereum is being locked up, which will bring the yield down actually. But it also means that there's no one selling. People aren't selling their Ethereum, so price should go up. And the burn mechanism is still in place. It's still negative issuance of ETH now because of the burn mechanism. So there's just so many, positive, bullish things for Ethereum going forward.
Yeah. Maybe one more topic, Simon.
Sure.
Tornado Cash was hacked. So how about that? The Hackers Haven hacked by hackers.
I did hear about this. So what exactly happened here, mate?
Well,
how did they hack it? What did they get?
I'm trying to get a little bit more information on that, and I guess we might post it in a subsequent video. But the essence of it is that it was some sort of governance attack where somebody managed to create, I guess, extra governance votes for themselves, and having that, they created heaps and heaps of votes for them. So they pretty much had a governance majority on Tornado Cash, and from there they were able to pretty much drain funds. I think it was from the treasury. I'm not sure. I really need to make sure. But then the crazy part is after they did the drain, they pretty much, I suppose, released the governance votes they have. So they pretty much set Tornado Cash free. And with the process that they took, they converted them to ETH and then put them back into the mixer. So they pretty much hacked the mixer and then they used the mixer to secure the funds.
They stole from the treasury and then they used the protocol's mixer to hide where the funds go. It's brilliant.
How mad is that? So yeah, the only problem is that a lot of people don't know this, but I did a little bit of homework on Tornado Cash way back for my job. And the thing is, Tornado Cash has a number of pools. I think one of them is something like 1 ETH. You put in an ETH and you can get on an ETH, and something like a 5 ETH and a 10 ETH pool. So you can't just throw in 120 Ethereums. Like, you have to throw in exact amounts so that nobody can track you. But the problem is that in order to be completely anonymous, well, you need to use the smaller pools. There's I don't know, maybe 10 whales in the biggest pool. So if you take your $1 billion and toss them in the biggest pool, well, if you're taking them out, law enforcement is pretty sure that it's one of those 10 guys. So it's almost kind of pointless to use the bigger pools, to be honest with you. Everybody is in the smaller pools. So I would wager that if those hackers knew what they were doing, they probably threw it in the small pool. The only problem is that if you throw it in the small pools, you're stuck withdrawing it at a really slow rate. You can't take it out all at once. You've got to take it out in chunks of whatever it is. I think it's less than I think it's probably $100. So you've got to withdraw it in terms of $100. Whatever money you stole can only come out in $100 trickles. And if it's a lot of money and you start trickling out $100 every day, everyone's going to know, like, that's the guy. That's the guy. So,
So
so yeah,
there's Will's advice. If you're going to hack money and put it through Tornado Cash, do it in small increments so you don't get caught.
yeah, but we wouldn't recommend hacking though. So yeah. But if you do,
No, we would not. If you just happen to, then this is the way you should do it. There you go. Alrighty. Thank you very much, Will. I think we will end it there. We should do the podcaster thing for anybody who's made it this far. Please like, please subscribe, please leave ratings, whichever one you're listening to us on. That helps us get the message out. If you made it this far, you probably like the show, so please do that to help us. Thanks for your time, Will.
all right, amazing, Simon. Until next time.